am Epworth's official Mumbassador, which title I'm very proud to be. And with me today I have Bella, who is a newborn photographer from Bella Fresh 48 Photography. And we're going to be talking about all things newborn photography today. So how to take a photo of your beautiful newborn baby, and all the things you need to know. So welcome, Bella.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to be speaking with you. Now, I know when I had my first nearly 9 years ago, newborn photography wasn't really around. It seems to have really taken off.
Yeah, definitely. Over the years, photography has become so much more accessible and you can take your camera with you everywhere now. But yeah, people are looking for someone to come into the hospitals to kind of document the first couple of days with a baby, with a new family. So yeah, it's getting much more popular.
Fantastic,
yeah.
Good for you then.
Yeah, it's lovely, it's great.
Now, if you can't get a newborn photographer and you're relying on your iPhone, what are some simple tips when using the iPhone when it comes to taking photos of your newborn?
Well, for me, the way that I work is all about getting natural shots. So I'm very, I don't kind of go for props or anything like that. I'm all about capturing the moment and the interaction between family members and things like that.
Yeah.
So have your phone on hand all the time.
Yeah.
Would be my number one tip, which is quite easy.
Yes, it is.
You normally do anyway.
It's always attached to it.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it on the side, the arm. And just to, when you have a little special moment, I don't know if baby's feeding or if you've got another child that wants to come over and give baby a kiss on the head, just have your camera ready so you can just ready to go basically.
And when it comes to using an iPhone or any sort of smartphone over a camera, can you still get a good quality picture through an iPhone?
You can, definitely. When you're using iPhones and smartphones over like digital SLR, it's important to focus on things like lighting.
Okay.
So we may be going on to that subject soon.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that's obviously one of the things that can make a difference.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
But the iPhones and the Android phones, they've got really good quality lenses now compared to like 5 years ago. They're much, much better now. You can get a decent sized print these days if the lighting's right.
Fantastic. Well, we might as well move on to lighting because I think it's an important topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I know in the past a lot of us would have tended to put the flash on, but when it comes to dealing with newborns, I'm guessing that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not a flash user.
Okay.
At all. Really.
Yeah, iPhone or camera.
Yeah. So the most important thing for me is to make sure there's as much natural light coming in the room as possible, without it being direct sunlight.
Yes.
So if you've got sunlight streaming through your window onto you, you're going to create really harsh shadows and it's going to be too bright for the baby anyway.
Yes.
So if you've got something sheer to cover your window with, that's great, but just make sure the big curtains are back or the blinds up.
Yes.
Or if you can't avoid the sunlight, just try and move to a slightly different area.
Okay.
To get the bright light but nothing too harsh.
And is there a setting on your camera? I mean, all cameras are obviously going to be different.
Yeah.
That even the most incapable photographers could pop their camera on a particular setting that would make the most of that lighting.
With phones?
Or with an actual camera rather than a
phone. It depends how into your camera you are. There's so many levels of using an SLR, DSLR. So generally, it depends how into using it.
Let's go with the most basic.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone can use it on auto, but for me, if you want to get a great picture and use quite simple settings, I would use it on Aperture Priority.
Right.
So whatever that is for your particular camera.
Yes.
We're talking about DSLR now,
Yes.
So you can set the f-stop to quite low, and that way it gives you a small depth of field.
Yep.
But actually the focus point's quite accurate with that as well. So you've got to make sure that you're focusing on what you want to focus on.
Yes.
Because it'll blur out the background and blur out the foreground, but that can be a nice one. iPhones have got a portraiture setting which does something similar as well.
Yes, yeah, which is fantastic.
Yeah, gorgeous.
They've come a long way. Yeah.
So much, yeah.
And you said that you're not a big fan of props, but more
Yeah.
of the natural moments being,
For me,
being
that's
captured.
that's my preference.
Absolutely. And I guess when you're in a hospital and you're just taking some photos of your babies, you're not going to have those props available. But what are some of the photos that you get most asked for to take?
I focus a lot on details because they change massively. I mean, when your baby's born, the tiny little wrinkly purple foot you get compared to the big plump foot of a 3-year-old is very different. So just capturing what's going to change the most.
Yes.
You forget sometimes.
You really do. And how beautiful to have those moments. So yes, the little wrinkly foot. What are some other things that...
and also people, although I don't use props, people like to have something that means something to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've got like a gorgeous crochet blanket that has been handed down for a couple of generations, wrap baby up in that and get a nice like head and shoulders or full body shot with that. And just things that are going to mean something to you personally, rather than a photographer bringing their stuff along. Just have in the shot, I don't know, a teddy that baby might have until baby's 8 or 10 years old or whatever, you know.
Yeah, beautiful.
Things that mean something.
In terms of keeping your baby in proportion or having the correct angle, are there any tips to getting that right? Yeah,
so when you're taking a full body shot, I generally think it's best to be as directly above baby as you can be.
Okay.
If you've got a big camera, make sure you're wearing your camera strap.
Yeah. Don't want that hanging down on baby. Yeah.
No, and be careful with the phone as well because they can be quite heavy.
Yes.
So if baby's lying down, either find a way to safely elevate yourself, or if you can put baby asleep on the floor on a blanket or something, just being directly above is a really lovely, either just body up to the top of the head or the whole of the baby. Yeah. And you can, a lot of the time people like to capture those cards, you know, like 1 week old, and
the welcome cards. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. How do you keep newborns calm during a photo shoot? So
for me, the way that I generally do my sessions is I start off, hopefully baby's quite recently been fed.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it helps a lot. And possibly even asleep.
Okay.
The asleep shots are so gorgeous. You can get in with all the details, and then you just, for me, it's keeping baby happy. So whatever works. Yeah. Cuddles with the different family members, baby being rocked, even feeding. Pictures are gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think also probably allowing the time that you might need to stop and have a break and top up your baby or burp or change a nappy or anything like
that.
And
those shots are great as well. While all those things are happening, like the nappy change shots, you might want to change the angle.
Don't want to see the contents of the nappy, but yes, the moment itself or the first bath or that sort of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Are there any absolute don'ts when it comes to taking a photo yourself?
No, because you can delete ones that you don't like.
Yeah, that's true.
And we've all got so much space.
Yes. I noticed on your blog post, which was fantastic, so I read that the other day, and there were lots of brilliant tips in that. But you said even capturing the moments when a baby is crying.
Yes.
Because they have such a little animated face.
I know.
And that's a moment too that you might want to look back on.
Yeah, and like always say, you can't hear the cries in a photo. Yeah. I'm not saying let's leave baby crying there for 5 minutes. So I'm just saying if baby has a little cry, you know.
Yes.
You can capture that. It's super cute. And they look really nice in black and white as well.
Yeah, that's
the yawning ones, they're lovely.
Yes.
And they do a little yawn.
Yeah. So really what you're saying is you can't take a bad photo.
So. I don't think so. Some people say don't shoot upwards, like up.
Yes.
I like the little, you can zoom in on the lips from that angle. So.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And can you run through a little bit about what you do so if somebody calls you or books in a session, what is the process from there?
So generally I ask people to book online because then I've got all the details. I don't need to hassle them again for email address or anything like that for when the gallery comes through. So the book online, I've got all the details, and then depending if they're in hospital and baby's here already,
Yeah.
I'll get in touch and arrange the best time to come in.
Okay.
If baby's not arriving for the next few weeks or months or whatever, then they get an email with my phone number on and they just text me once baby's here.
Right.
And then I text back, or husband or partner or
Yeah.
whoever needs to do the texting.
To organise the
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then you
And then, yeah.
come in and...
So arrange it, mutually convenient time. If you want to do it at a time when there's a sibling that's coming in as well, we'll try and do that, which we usually can manage to do, which is great. Or if grandma's coming or something like that, that's
Beautiful.
lovely as well. And then after that, I like to work quite fast, so I don't like a big backlog. So I get the galleries online within the next couple of days, and then you just choose if and what you want to purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long does a session usually take?
Really quick.
Okay.
I don't like to kind of intrude, so I just pop in there, get them done within 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh wow, that's really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're interrupted, obviously we'll hang around.
Yes.
Because obviously what the work that the midwives do is more important.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll sit back and let them get on with that.
Yep.
But yeah, and just finish the session after that.
Yeah, beautiful. Any tips for when editing your photos?
Just try a few different things.
Right.
Like maybe try black and white.
Mhm.
Try a few different filters. The good thing about the filters a lot of the time is you can dial them back a bit, so it doesn't have to be
As extreme.
Yeah, totally extreme. Just see what works, and then another tip would be to get some printed, because we so often leave them on our phones.
So true, we do.
Yeah.
I have way too many on my phone and hardly any
Yeah.
in a photo album or anything like that. I think my first born is the only one that ended up with a baby book.
Yes.
And the other three are still wondering where theirs is. Is there? I know, isn't that awful?
No, not at all. It's just life.
So, is there a good time or location to take photos? As in, is the hospital room okay if you're just doing it yourself, or should you try and venture outside or in another room?
Hospital room's lovely.
Yeah.
I just go wherever. Inside, I think inside's better.
Yes.
When they're little and they're tiny. So wherever you are, you can always manage to get some nice shots, and
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you think that we haven't covered off that is important?
I might go back to lighting.
Yeah, let's do lighting.
I'm obsessed with lighting.
But I think it is probably the best sort of thing to focus on.
So a lot of the time these days the camera's so good at editing for us because it does it in camera. So if you're taking a picture of someone and there's a window behind you, for example, and it's nice and bright, my camera will compensate for that and bring you brighter, which is great, but the quality of that is not going to be quite as good as if you were turned around and you had the soft sunlight on front.
On the front view.
Because the camera's compensating, the quality won't be as good. Say, for example, if you want it to be larger or so when you just be careful with the backlighting. So.
Yeah, and I think what you said earlier was really interesting because a lot of the hospitals have that beautiful sheer curtain.
It's great.
So make the most of that. I'm
definitely.
guessing, and if it's a cloudy day, is it okay to sort of open those blinds up and just have the natural light through?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Even if the sun's not coming through the window, still fine to take the.
As long as it's nothing shining in the baby's eyes. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I think I've got lots of tips now for photographing my own children. And it sounds like you do an amazing job. And I've seen your photos; they're absolutely beautiful. So yes, I think we will wrap it up unless we've had any further questions. No? Okay. If you do have anything that you would like to ask Bella, please feel free to comment on this post and we'll do our best to get back to you. I hope you've enjoyed this chat. I certainly have.
Would there be any way that we can attach the blog post for people to download for free?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's a great tip. So we might pop the blog post in the comments under this video so you can have a read. There's lots of invaluable info in that post for taking your own photo. But if you do need a professional, Bella is on hand to help. So thank you so much for your time today, and we'll see you again soon.